Good morning, it's today again. Welcome back to Joseph's Reserves. I'm Joseph and I store 20% of my income in the form of rare coins and precious metals. Gold wasn't always a 1-ounce coin. For centuries, most practical gold coins were fractional, often between 1/10 and 1/4 ounce. They were designed for everyday transactions, not just wealth storage. As gold climbs higher in price, I believe these smaller denominations will become the new standard. Today, I want to share my progress and update on my 1/10 ounce gold typeset challenge and share why this approach is both practical and strategic for anyone building a reserves. Congratulations to Liam for being the first comment on yesterday's video. Thank you for the support. Y'all go find him down in the comments to start a conversation. For much of history, gold circulated in fractions. Large coins existed, but they weren't practical for trade in daily life. 1-ounce coins, like we see today with the American Gold Eagle, are relatively modern concepts in the bullion world. Fractional gold was accessible, portable, liquid, and easy to trade in local markets. And that's exactly why I started thinking about practical gold for modern stacking. As gold continues in an upward trend, 1-ounce coins will become capital intensive and less flexible for day-to-day allocations. A 1-ounce coin allows anyone to continue building a reserve consistently without waiting until they can afford 1 full ounce. In the past, when I have tried saving to a full ounce of gold, I'd either fail at saving the fiat dollars, or by the time I did have enough money to buy the full ounce, I would have done better buying fractional gold, meaning I would have ended up with more gold in my hands for the same cost, simply because the gold value raised so quickly that I would have been able to buy cheaper gold if I had started buying it when I started saving. This is where the 1/10 ounce gold typeset challenge comes in. This challenge isn't random. It's a disciplined, structured way to build a personal gold collection, understand the history of bullion programs, and stay consistent within a stacking strategy. It's also a lens into practical gold, showing that smaller denominations can be very powerful tools for accumulation, liquidity, and long-term strategy. In regular coin collecting a typeset is when you choose a specific denomination and find every coin design within that denomination. For example, if we were talking about American dimes, you would get 1 Roosevelt dime, 1 Mercury dime, 1 Barber dime, a seated Liberty, and go back as far as you possibly can. Even within the modern bullion programs, designs change. For example, American Eagles, there's a Type 1 reverse and a Type 2 reverse. Even within the history of modern bullion programs, which only spans about the last 40 to 45 years, there has been many adjustments to the designs of these bullion coins. First off, most bullion started as a 22 karat coin. The South African Krugerrand has always been 22 carats. However, the Britannias from Great Britain started off as 22 karat and then made a shift to 24. In Canada, they started with 3 nines, 99.9% pure, and then shifted to 4 nines, which then became the industry standard. But other than purity, we're also taking a look at the design themselves. A lot of countries that used the queen's or king's head on the coin changed that portrait over time. In addition, monetary shifts have changed the denomination of some of these coins, like in the case of the Austrian Philharmonic, the shift from shillings to euros. These are all small details that an average stacker might not even really care about, but for us that are in between collectors and stackers, this becomes a fun side project. Learning about how modern bullion started and finding these older coins from the 80s and 90s can be a bit of a challenge. For example, there's the Mexican Libertad. It had an original design with the Lady of Victory statue facing forward. In that design, the 1/10 ounce gold coins were only made between 1991 and 1993, so clearly one of those has a little bit of a high premium. Learning those things can make it extremely exciting when you do eventually find one. And then when you see the price, the premium that's attached to that kind of a coin, you understand. So what is the actual challenge? Well, there's 3 levels. Level 1 is 10 different gold type coins that are from no more than 5 different countries. This requires you to at least get a few types. Level 2 is just double that, 20 coins from no more than 10 countries. And level 3 is very simple, just 30 different types of gold coins. This opens it up to generic rounds, bars, really anything that would be 1/10 of an ounce of gold. So I have all of my 1/10 ounce gold coins right here. Let's go ahead and take a look at the progress that I've made. I'll try to keep them together by country, so we'll go ahead and start with the Canadian maple. The biggest things to look for the Canadian maple is the change in portrait design of the queen, and eventually the transition to the king. There were 3 different portraits they used for the queen, so that's already 3 types of Canadian maples used there, as well as adding the king to make it a 4th. They also added security features like the radial lines and privy marks, so that defines another type. Here I have 2 of the types, one from 1997 and another one from 2009. So I do need a few more coins here, but that's what I got so far from Canada. Next up is American Gold Eagles. I do have some extras, so I'll just set that to the side. But American Gold Eagles has a Type 1 and a Type 2 reverse. The obverse looks the same, but these 2 different reverses transitioned during 2021. So in 2021, you could get both reverses, but as long as you have one of each, that's each type. Next, the South African Krugerrand. So this one, there was no design changes, at least not anything major. There were some small font changes, but they did that many times throughout the series, so we're just going to count that as 1. Next up, we do have this coin from Spain. They do change the design of the animal head on the obverse every year, so that's not going to count, but there is this pillar dollar design that they have not changed. They just started their bullion program in 2022, so that's a soul coin as well. And next up is a tricky one. It's Australia, and I'll explain really quick why it's a little bit tricky. Mostly because Australia, the Perth Mint, makes many different series, the koalas, kangaroos, the nuggets, and the calendar lunar year. Here I have a nugget and a kangaroo, and both of them use the same portrait of the queen. So since the portraits of the queen are consistent throughout the series and different programs that they make, I believe that these are all of the same type, including even this square coin that I have that's 1/10 of an ounce of gold. It uses the same portrait. So I'm considering all 3 of these the same type, even though they're from different series from the same mint. I could easily consider them all different types because they're from different series, but I like to make it harder on myself so that I force myself to get more gold. But I do have another portrait from Australia. This is the Lunar Year of the Dragon from 2024. This is the later portrait, so I do have another type from Australia. Next up, I have a Chinese panda. The Chinese panda, I know they change the panda design every year, but I don't know if they have changed the obverse at all. So I'll make sure I look more into that and let you guys know. But honestly, I'm not too fond of the Chinese gold or silver, so I might just keep it at the 1 coin. Then we have here an Austrian Philharmonic and a gold Libertad. So the Austrian Philharmonic changed from euros to shillings, like I mentioned before, and the Mexican gold Libertad has 2 different designs, changing from a forward-facing statue to a sideways angled facing statue. Last but not least, I do have this 1/10 ounce gold Mercury dime from 2016. This is currently one of 3 1/10 ounce gold 24 karat bullion coins from the United States Mint. So because of that, I'm going to group all three of those together, and I have this one. I do wish to get a 1/10 ounce gold buffalo, so I might be adding that, but it won't be an additional type. We've got Australia, China, Austria, Mexico, Canada, United States, South Africa, and Spain. 8 different countries and 12 different types. Unfortunately, I'm not able to make 10 different types with no more than 5 countries, but I am 1 coin away from finishing that level 1, and I can start working towards level 2 a little bit more seriously. My best bet would be either adding to my Australian or Canadian types, although another possibility would be getting either an older Austrian Philharmonic, a possibly different Chinese Panda, or the old original design Mexican Libertad. So we'll see which way it goes. Really, it just depends on which one is in front of me when it's time to buy, but we will see when I finish that out. In addition, I also found that these guardhouse tubes, this one here with the orange top was made for 1 ounce gold, as well as the clear one made for $50, fits these airtight capsules perfectly. The one that is made for holding 20 ounces of gold actually fits 12 of these airtight capsules, while the other one holds 9. So if we were to get one of the 1 ounce gold and 2 of the $50 size tubes, we would be able to fit our 30 1/10 ounce gold coins perfectly. The cool thing about these tubes is that since they're holding airtight capsules, those airtight capsules can be 30 coins of whatever you like these quarter-ounce coins. We could end up doing the same 30 coins of quarter-ounce coins. And of course, there's always the possibility of doing 30 1-ounce gold coins, but I think that kind of defeats the purpose. I think that first I would probably transition into 30 older historical coins between 1/10 ounce and 1/4 ounce gold. The whole point was that fractional gold coins dominated history because they were practical. As gold rises, I believe that this history will repeat itself in a modern form. The 1/10 ounce coin allows anyone to participate in stacking without waiting for a 1 ounce affordability thresholds. They are practical, liquid, and historically aligned with how gold has circulated for centuries. This makes them ideal for building blocks for beginners and advanced stackers. These small gold coins will accumulate and add up faster than you realize. This 1/10 ounce typeset challenge is about more than just collecting coins. It's about positioning yourself for flexibility, long-term accumulation, and generational continuity. Even if you can't buy a whole ounce of gold today, or you're focused on ratios and allocations, small gold will keep you consistent, strategic, and prepared. And that is how you build a reserves, steadily, deliberately, and with purpose.
I just made my own line of coffee. Joseph's Reserves It's Today Again coffee. Most mornings aren't dramatic. They're quiet. You wake up, pour yourself a cup, and now you have a choice. Drift through the day or take hold of what's in front of you. That's really what this whole thing's about. Showing up, building good habits, staying disciplined in the small things. Whether that's stacking consistently, learning something new, or just being faithful with what you've been given. I put these words on every bag to remind myself first. Every morning is a gift. Not yesterday, not tomorrow, today. So take a breath, take a sip, and let's get to work. It's today again. You can now write me at Joseph's Reserves, 10160 Highway 242, Suite 800, number 401 in Conroe, Texas, zip code 77385. Make sure to include your information so I can write you back.
If you like this video, make sure to go down and give it a thumbs up. Go down into the comment sections for any questions or comments to start conversations. Make sure you share the video to anyone you think might like it, and subscribe if you haven't already. But most of all, thank you so much for watching. And just remember, every ounce adds up. So no matter how small, just keep stacking.